comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Lights, camera, action.
It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Do you know who I am?
Live and local inside the J. Michaels studio.
People know me.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey! Hot tub! I'm full of water! I say hot tub!
Busted the perfectly good set of headphones.
Hot tub! Hey! Gonna get you hot tub! I'm gonna make it wet! Say hot tub! Rubber tub and hot tub!
What's your definition of good?
Still getting hot tub!
Yeah!
Will it make me sweat?
Yeah!
Still getting hot tub!
Yeah!
Will it make me wet?
Yeah!
You weren't on air, well, thank you, Glenn. Hey, Wildcat, you doing okay?
Doing good. A little chilly out there.
Did you get it straight?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all good.
I think it's...
He was playing double commercials at the same time. He said that way the advertisers get twice what they paid for.
Oh, my God. I have to give Wildcat the props. I was in my car the other day driving somewhere, and I heard the commercial of James Hale's greatest hits. Made. Oh, my God, I about wrecked my car. Your best one was Rocky Top. You do a better job, Rocky.
One of the words.
Didn't say the first
he didn't
word.
get one word right.
But you know what? Y'all laugh. The money we're making off that album, it's incredible. I mean, I can't believe people are buying it. It's going off the shelf.
Look at the new clothes he's wearing.
That's awesome, man.
New vehicle sitting outside.
Now, is it as cold as they said it was going to be?
I don't know.
Feels like it.
Cold enough.
See, I thought I saw it was 40 degrees. I heard it was going to be like...
Well, wind chill, you got to
it's the
take
wind.
that.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like 34 with a wind chill 24 or something like that.
My temperature said
All right.
30-something when I woke up.
Let's talk about it now because it's going to come on. What's going to happen when your SEC cupcakes have to come to Columbus or Penn State and it's like this?
Man, can you imagine?
What are your cupcakes going to do?
They're ruining college football. They should never make the Southern teams do that.
They ruined college football by leveling the playing field.
Yeah, that's not fair. That's not
They let
right.
other schools pay for players, and now you got to play in cold weather.
We want to be the only ones to cheat.
Yeah. We were talking about that the other day with somebody. The old days were the best. That way, this equalized everything that now that you legally can pay them.
I know.
Before then, the SEC had a big-time advantage. and the Southwestern Conference.
Under Emmert, the LSU chancellor.
You know, seriously, when Coach Collins left Southern Mississippi and Randy Butler coached with him, they all went out there. And Coach Collins is a great man. I mean, he was a great man, great coach, loved him to death. Coach Collins, all those guys. And Coach Carmody didn't go out there with him. He became the head coach of Southern Mississippi. He went to Buffalo Bills, came back to Southern as a head coach. But Coach Carmody went out there that they were like looking, staff meetings, they were like, what the hell, what is going on? You know, they got these people doing these certain things, and it had been going on before they got there. The governor of the state of Texas knew what was going on, big-time money people, and they said, it's more or less told them, y'all do the coaching, let us know who we need, and we'll get it done. And they did. They got it done. They got the death penalty. Yeah, they got the death penalty. But they had one of the best teams in college football when Coach Collins was there. They almost won the national championship. Matter of fact, if their name would have been Alabama or Ohio State, they probably would have won it back then. But they had those great running backs, James and Dickerson. They had a quarterback. They ran you know what they ran, Jim? They ran a lot, like we just said, trap and trap option. That was their big play.
They had a great middle guard on Carter.
Yeah.
Michael Carter played for the 49ers for a long time.
And you talk to those guys we played for, when we would talk to them about what the experiences they did that they had at SMU, they're like, well, what do you do? What do you say? It was just like no big deal. This is what we do. And then really all the other teams, we had that running back, Dupree. He was being recruited by everybody. Where he wanted to go, he went up to the tower, Coach Bryant, and said, I want to play for you. He wanted to come to Alabama. And Coach Bryant looked at him and said, son, if you want to come play for me, you better look somewhere else. Because Bears last year, he knew he was dying. And he was honest with the kid. I'm not going to be here. You're going to be a new guy. So it came down between Oklahoma and Texas. And the big deal was they bought not a house, but a trailer. She wanted a brand new trailer, whatever it was. And the money that was spent was incredible. And we wanted him too, but we didn't have the kind of money.
We gotta be fair and balanced. I hate that expression, but let's just be fair and balanced. I watched the movie about Bear Bryant, Junction Boys.
Yeah.
And I just remember distinctly because I ragged you down. I'm gonna rag you now. At the beginning of the movie, there's one of those scenes where Bear Bryant gets the suitcase or the duffel bag.
No, it was a spitting platoon or something.
Whatever it was. Puts it in front of all the good old boys. All right, boys. I'm just paraphrasing. I don't know exact wording, but time to pony up. Who's going to put the money up in the jar?
Show me your commitment. Show me your commitment.
So don't.
And yes, that is true. That did happen. He was talking about buying resources.
Yeah.
He's talking about new. He was talking about new facilities, new playing fields. Yeah.
They need a new side out there in the practice field.
He told everybody he cheated. You know, he didn't deny it. He cheated at Texas A&M.
If you look in the history, most of the great coaches had to. I mean, even the basketball coach at UCLA, I mean, the Wizard of Westwood, I mean, he had a huge booster behind him that was bringing these kids in and wine and dining them in L.A. and bringing them in and paying them. So, and they won 10 national championships in a row. And considered the greatest coach in NCAA history.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, they had the greatest players. No, for sure.
They were phenomenal.
Yeah. One thing about Coach Bryant, the guys that played for him that I knew, I didn't know him, didn't play for him, but what they said, that man, he tell you something. He would never lie to you, and he was upfront and honest. He didn't, and they said he didn't fear anything.
Right.
I mean, it's the way it's going to be, and he had more power probably than the coach in the country as an AD, head football coach. But he said that he made a mistake at A&M. It cost him. They couldn't. They got in trouble, and he said that one. He didn't say, I will never cheat again. He'll say he'll never get in trouble.
Right.
I'll never get caught again. There's a difference. Yeah. There is a difference.
Yeah, I'm not going to get caught this time.
Yeah.
Wildcat, they cheat in Kentucky basketball? Did Adolph Rupp cheat?
Are you kidding me?
Man, now you got him going to start on me, too.
Well, that's like Coach Bowden. I was involved in something with Coach Bowden and Ronnie Cockrell. We had a kid, James Roberson, a parade. Coach Spurrier, he would come in and talk about that probably. Coach Spurrier spoke at our banquet. First banquet we spoke as a head football coach at Florida. And Carl Franks comes in, and he was recruiting for Duke. And James was parade All-American, played in the NFL, was on FSU's first national championship team. So James' dad worked for Ben Hale Griffin. Well, one of his, didn't know him, but Ben Hale Griffin owned about everything in that part of the world. Great man. Anyway, Carl was recruiting him for Duke. I said, Carl, he ain't going to Duke. And Carl's Carl. Carl's a great guy. Love Carl. So he comes back again. I said, God dang. And I'm having so many coaches come through there because of having James Roberson.
Right.
And we had some other kids. So you don't get tired of it. You enjoy it. But I'm like, damn, Carl's back again. I'm like, what the hell? So I said, Carl, I'm telling you, he ain't going to Duke, man. He goes, I ain't here for Duke. I looked at him, and this is before it was even announced. And he goes, you got to help me. I said, well, he would be interested in Florida. There's no doubt about that. He's interested in Florida. He's interested in Florida State, Auburn. So anyway, they had a big party. He commits to Florida. Big party. Spurrier comes down. He's going to speak at the banquet. We spent the whole day together. I mean, the entire day together. I didn't go to school. I was with him and I lived free. When I was the coach there, they got us a free place to live. And the only bill we had was a power bill. Was the phone bill. Yeah. Everything else paid for. So he's with us that whole day. I listened to him. I was just far from him, listening to him talk. And he had landlines back then. You didn't have cell phones.
Right.
I was listening to him talk to Emmett Smith's dad. Coach Spurrier was pissed off at some reporter. I think it was in either Orlando or Tampa. I want to say it was Tampa. And he was getting after that guy. And it was something, too, I was trying to listen. What the heck is going on? He wanted Emmett to stay. And they were talking about his offense, the throwing the ball on the field, the running backs wouldn't be in. It was just something crazy. And anyway, I listened to all that. We spent the whole day together. He held Jamie, was a little baby. It was unbelievable. That night comes around, we go, I introduced him. He told Carl Franks, he said, that's the best introduction I ever got in my life. I got up there in front of all those, and there was some big Gator boosters in Little Lake, Wells, Florida.
I'm sure,
Ben Hill Griffin's Country Club is right there. So I said, this would be like, he's going to do what Bear Bryant did at Alabama. It'd be like a head football coach going to Vandy and winning the SEC what he did in the ACC at Duke. It just doesn't happen. Now he's going to be at Florida with all these resources and everything he's done in his career. I just bragged on him. And I just told him what I really thought. He got him to do a great job. James was happy. They have a party, and I went to it, and they had a gator cake there, all this stuff. Then all of a sudden, getting closer to signing day,
here come the NIL deals.
they were just driving around a brand new.
Manley was involved in it.
Driving around a
the bag man.
brand new Buick Regal.
Oh no!
And everybody's like, "What the hell's going on?"
Had Tallahassee dealer plates on it.
So anyway, it was crazy. Signing day, he signs with FSU, and this back when the coaches could be in there.
Right.
And I was like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Coach, I just had a change of heart." I said, "James, did they buy you?" He goes, "No, I just and everybody thought they bought him, everybody. But there was another kid on our team that was real good close to James, and his dad was a big time Seminole, and their family was, and they were together a lot, and he liked Coach Bowden, and this is what I was told anyway, that the dad let him use a car." So that somehow the dad got a brand new car.
Right.
But Ronnie Cockrell was recruiting him and everything. And Coach Bowden, I mean, you asked Ronnie today, he said, "Hell, about got me fired." I didn't about get him fired. But Coach Spurrier was upset. Everybody was upset. The whole town was split. You're talking about Little Lake Wells.
Right.
You had all these Gators that lived there, all these Seminole people. It was ugly, man. People wouldn't talk to each other. People were pissed off. And the dad worked for Ben Hill Griffin's company.
Wow.
And I'm like, woo. It was the NCAA came in, and my principal was I'm not gonna say his name, Keith Wyndham, but he was a Seminole.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, big time.
So he helped. Really.
So he came in. The NCAA came in. He called me in there. He said, "Look," and he talked to everybody, not together as a group, but individually. Had anything to do with it. He goes, "We're not going to give any information unless asked. The less we say is better." I'm sitting looking at Keith like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, they're going to try to make this a big, ugly mess," and said, "The bottom line is he signed the paper. He signed who he wanted to." And I was like, "Well, I'm going to tell him what I know. I'm going to tell them the truth. I'm going to answer what they ask." He kind of looked at me and got quiet. Well, I'll say this. The next year I was coaching at Cape Coral. I went coaching at Lake Wales.
Wow.
And between then and the season, I was at Cape Coral, not Lake Wales. But anyway, you know what? That's fine, too, because I told what I knew and what I thought. But it was ugly.
There was a lot of people that stood up for Spurrier during that time because a lot of people thought the Gators were paying players, and he was the one program that seemed like he wasn't crossing the line. Because I remember the Tennessee stuff with Fulmer.
Yeah, I know for a fact. We knew him. He would come to Cape Coral when Billy Brooks, our running back coach, coached Ernest Graham. And Ernest and his little brother, great players. Mm-hmm. Ernest played in the NFL, played for Florida.
Yeah.
Ernest, I coached him in an All-Star game. They wanted him bad, and Billy was he was a Miami Hurricane. He wanted him to go to Miami.
Yeah, he was.
But we did what we had to do. But he went to Florida, did great there. But I know for a fact, Coach Spurrier did not ever buy a player.
Right.
He didn't do anything. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Because he was totally against that crap.
Right.
Now, did a Gator booster do something that he didn't know about? I'm sure that probably happened somewhere at some time. But I know I
that happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Now that's something that happens every.
And I will say this with Coach Bowden. I never ever seen him do anything wrong or say anything wrong. Now, did that mean anybody else at Florida State do anything wrong? I'm looking at Glenn Manley. Yeah, they probably did.
I'm sure there's degrees of separation from the coaches where people get stuff done behind the scenes. Yeah. Like the Cadillacs just don't show up on their own.
When you were the head coach down there, did Carl recruit that area, or who was recruiting for Florida State down there?
When I was at Coral Shores that 1 year, Florida State, it was Chuck Amato came to our
Chuck's
school.
a good guy.
Yep. Chuck
Rod Broadway from Florida. And the guy who became Coker from Miami were the ones that
I like Coker.
Yeah,
I like
those
Coker.
are the guys who came to our school.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll get back to our little chat session. Glenn's got some good stories about recruiting.
And Arnold.
Hey, what? Tell me this. Tell me this. What head coach, what big-time head coach, a legendary coach, called for Glenn Manley to come be in the picture because he didn't want to be the shortest guy in the picture.
That's true.
Anyway, that's Glenn's famous for that. All right, let's talk about some of our great people. J. Michael's restaurant today is the crisp fish. It's outstanding. Grilled fish, peppers and onions over a bed of rice. It's got a special sauce that goes on it. It's outstanding. It's healthy. Go check it out. The best seafood, the best cold beer. And it was packed out Wednesday. And thank all you guys for showing up Wednesday. It was packed out. Let's do that again today. Come have lunch with us today at J. Michael's. We'll be there about a little bit around 11:15, something like that. South Oak Tile and Closing, the best real. They do such an incredible job. Chuck, his daddy was the principal at Mosley. Chuck's a great man. Hired great personnel. They do an incredible job at South Oak Tile and Closing. That's the reason all the people want to use it. Mark Cowdown, 38. They all want to use South Oak Tile and Closing. They demand it. So should you. Stevenson Air Conditioning. We don't care if the wind's blowing. We don't care what the wind chill factor is. You know why? Because we've got Stevenson Air Conditioning right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. And so should you. Get it serviced. Save you money. Get a new one. And it pay for itself. Stevenson Air Conditioning, #1. Just like our Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, the best happy hour anywhere. Buy one and get one free. House wine, draft beer, margaritas right here right across the street from the Navy Base on Thomas Drive. We'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
I don't care about your past.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
We're up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Hurricane Helene.
And breaking weather as it happens.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. Mostly clear this afternoon and evening with a moderate breeze out of the north-northeast around 13 miles per hour and temps near 54. Tonight we will have mostly clear skies and a wind speed of 8 miles per hour and be above freezing at 39. Mostly sunny tomorrow and a high 60. Some sun Sunday with a temp of 67. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
Are payment processing fees eating into your profits? With Bay County POS, local businesses are saving time and money with secure, seamless merchant services. Reduce credit card processing fees and save up to 3.9% on gross sales. From quick, contactless payments to detailed sales reporting, it's Bay County POS. For a free consultation, call 850-359-3906. Bay County POS. Local service, global standards.
When he played football, helmets had not been invented yet. Players played both sides, and quarterbacks weren't afraid of needles. It's the Coach James Hale Show, live from the J. Michael Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Glenn Manley is blessed us to be here again today. No golf today, huh?
Well, I'm not here. I'm not here, but Conrad's out there. I should have.
Did he go play again?
Conrad's out there.
Yeah, we'll have a heater in the covered cart. So he was
It's
like,
too cold.
Are you going to be on there all the time now?" And I go, "No." So
yeah, he gets jealous. If you hang too much with me, he gets a little jealous. I said, calm down, Carl. We will share him.
Yeah.
We'll share him.
You want me to tell the story?
Yes. Yeah. When the break, we had asked you guys if there was a famous coach, really famous coach, getting ready to get a picture. It was going to be a big famous picture. And he goes, wait a minute. He stopped everything. He goes, I don't want to be the shortest, because there was a lot of big guys in the room.
Yeah, but that's not the way he said it.
Yeah, go
I
tell
think
him.
Mickey Andrews put him up to it. But anyway, they were going to talk to Jared, and so I actually, I was down in the gym and everything, and so they come running down there and said, "You got to get up to the red room." And said, "Coach Biden wants to see you." And I was like, "What? No, you got." So I go flying in there, and they're all standing around for a picture, and I walk in there, and then he goes, "Come here, boy." You know how he says, "Come here, boy. I want you to stand right here because I don't want to be the shortest guy in the picture." And I was like, you're talking about being crushed. I was like, "Oh, but
thanks, Coach."
Now, I don't want to hurt your feelings, all right? And don't get mad. You promise? All right. What I heard, Conrad said, "We don't want to be the ugliest ones in this picture. Let's get
well, that could be true, too. I noticed when they took the picture.
Bowden liked you.
There was
Coach
a little
Bowden
dot.
liked you.
There's a little dot right on my foot. Well, we went to the coaching clinic, and so they had the big barbecue when they were building a new part of the stadium. They had this big, it was humongous. And so all these coaches were eating barbecue. And so Coach Andrews was sitting there, and me and Conrad and everything. And so Coach Bowden comes over and sits down. So he's got 2 plates. He's got a barbecue sandwich. He got 1 plate of barbecue, and he put it between me and him across the table. And so he got through eating his sandwich, and so we were sitting there, we're all talking, and he would look down the other end of the table, and he would pull the barbecue towards him. And so then he would start to eat, and then he would look, and he would push it back towards me. And so I said, "Coach, what are you doing?" He said, he said, "My wife's down there, and I'm not supposed to have this, so if she starts this way, you're going to start eating."
Anna spanked me.
Yeah, he said, but I was like, "What?" But, he sat out there when they lined up all the way across the Doak Campbell Stadium, and he sat in that chair and signed the autographs as those people came in,
Yeah,
and
he's a great man.
Came to our FCA meeting when we had the chariot races. You put people on a blanket and you race them around there. So we were taking him back, me and the deputy were taking him back to the airport. And so he said, "I need to pull into this 7-Eleven right there, just across 231 right there." So he's going to go in there and get something to drink. And so I said, "Coach, I'll buy it." He said, "No, you can't buy it for me." He said that. So anyway, so he's sitting there, and the guys behind the counter goes, "You look familiar." And he said, "Yeah, I look familiar to a lot of people." So like that. He was just talking to the guy, and all of a sudden the guy, ding, it dawned on who he was. So as soon as he said that, it was like people were coming from everywhere. I don't know where they came. They started coming in the store and all that. So he said, "I got to go. I'm going to miss my plane." So I said, "Coach, they won't leave without you."
The principal I was talking about, it was Lake Wells, and said, "We're not going to, how to handle the NCAA thing." Well, you should have seen today, Coach Bowden came in there. This was another kid. We had a center that Brian Law signed with him. And I think it's my first year as a head coach. Anyway, Coach Bowden had the way, there's something about him. After being with him 5 minutes, you think you've known him your whole life. He just had this, man, he had it. Whatever it is, he had it and a lot of it.
Yeah, he had it.
But my principal, when he walked in that school, it was like, open the door for him, laying down the road, let me wipe your feet off. It was like Elvis Presley would have walked in here or something. He was in love with the man. It was like his idol, his hero.
It was hard not to be. The way he talked to people, I've seen him probably 2 years after I've been to his camps, and he remembered me, remembered who my family was. He talked to me about how my life was doing. I was like, "You remembered me?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was nobody then. I was in the 9th grade. I was, had a weak arm,
Well, he
skinny
had
as heck.
either
it's like all those women never forget you.
Right. Amato or Mickey was with him. They would know. They knew everybody.
Yeah, they did.
and so they would say that's so and so,
And Coach Rick was there at the time too. He was a great guy too.
He was too. So, but anyway, Mickey's grandson and my son actually played on the same baseball team over there. So Mickey would come every once in a while to the game. So he would come over and sit by me and Janet. And so everybody's going like, "Golly, how do they know him?" Everything. He was funny. But when people do that.
Don't you think Mickey's probably the second most famous coach over there?
Yeah.
When Bobby was there, even to this day, everybody knows who Mickey Rangers is.
The people within the program, for sure.
Yeah, well, what was really funny, we'd say, "Now, this guy's smiling here and talking to you." And I said, "When you get out there and practice, he's not going to be smiling."
He's going to be smiling.
But all those guys were pretty Rick, who doesn't know who Rick was, a good guy. And even Amato. He got head coaching job at NC State, and he was so flamboyant the way he dressed. And his personality
I love about
was different.
Mickey, though, the way he treated people.
Oh, for sure.
Sue Harrell was assistant principal at Arnold. She was number 2, I think. And Janice was the principal at the time. She loved FSU, and everybody knows Mickey Andrews. Well, I told him, I said, hey, you got some time? He said, assistant principal. And I know he was busy, too. It was recruiting season and everything. I said, could you come, let me introduce you to her, because she loves FSU, and she they talk about you, everything. He goes, yeah, I'll do it. He went down there, spent time with her, and it was like Santa Claus had been with her. I mean, she was so happy, and she thanked me every time. Man, that was so nice of you to do that. That was something. And he spent there, spent time with her, talked to her, treated her like, just like you're talking about. Yeah. He was a great guy. I talked to him, too, about Coach Bryant. He played for Bear Bryant. When I was growing up, we used to listen to radio all the time in the games. They weren't on TV, so you listened to radio. Mickey was a heck of a football player. Coach Bryant really liked him. So I asked him, I said, Mickey, who's the best coach? Bobby or Coach Bryant? And he goes, Bobby's great. He goes, but I played for Coach Bryant. Said Coach Bryant he's just a different level, man.
Yeah.
He loved Coach Bryant. And that's not cutting down Bobby Bowden.
No.
He played for the guy. He grew up in Alabama. He played for the guy. He loved him. But he talked about how tough Coach Bryant was. You know how tough Mickey was in his practice?
For sure.
He was brutal. He learned all that stuff. He learned that stuff up in Tuscaloosa.
But
Coach
you know
Bryant.
what? After the practice, they would be hugging on the guys and talking. Be their best friend. But when they walked on that field,
those players loved him, which shows that you can still coach kids hard and still have that love for them at the same time, which most of those kids wanted to be coached hard. They wanted to get to that next level. So he scared the crap out of me at camp one time because I was making fun of him a little bit. We were like walking from the practice fields to the dorms, and he was right behind me, and I was doing an imitation of him. He grabbed me by the back of my shirt, turned me around, and there was just tobacco juice and spit flying everywhere. And he was doing it in front of some of the freshman guys that had already reported, so they were laughing over there. But all those guys loved him, and he coached them hard, and they were tough and played to the echo of the whistle.
How do you think him and prime time?
Total opposites. I mean, total.
No, I mean, he worked his hell out.
He did. Yeah, he said, I think he said, when you go out there, he
didn't care who you were.
Yeah, here's the thing of what they used to do too, and then of course, I knew Jared, and then for the line, and he said, but if you did a false start and all that, and he said everybody paid for that.
Yeah.
Everybody was held accountable. So, you had the gassers and stuff doing that. So it wasn't just you running. It was the line and some other people running. So you mentally made, I'm not doing this again because,
That might be one of the greatest staffs.
We're talking about old times. I'll never forget, Jim and I took, it was Spurrier's first football camp. I think it was in June or July. I can't remember now. But we took him up there, and Jim and I were either in the car or leaning up against the car, and they're doing the practice. Remember, he goes, hey, Coach, y'all get out here. I need some help.
Yeah, he did.
So we went out there, we never got paid for that, did we? So anyway, we worked his camp for him those days up there, but he did appreciate that. He treated us really good. I love that guy. And just think, Glenn, coaching football, the people we got to meet.
Right. Yeah.
Bobby Bowden, Steve Spurrier, Nick Saban, all those guys.
Urban and
Urban, it's crazy.
Yeah. So, but you get to do that, and it's really fun because the thing is, otherwise you may not ever. You get to see them far away unless you're a big time booster or something.
Jim, who was the offensive line coach? He played at Miami. He coached here, really good guy. He's a recruit Southwest Florida. I liked him a lot. I can't remember his name.
For Miami, Art Kehoe.
Yeah.
Art Kehoe you talk about down to earth. It's about down to earth as you can get. He's a great guy.
I liked him.
He's a lot of fun.
He still?
I don't know what he does now.
Yeah,
I don't have any idea.
Some of these people are dying off. It's sad, man. Yeah. All right, I don't know what today is. Just storytelling time. I got to have some stories about my miniature dots when we get back. I think we'll enjoy that too.
All right, here we go.
Hey, listen, you get any type of injury, there's one legendary doctor around here. That is, and ask him, he'll tell you all about it. Dr. Chad Mitchell. You can listen to him every Monday right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. The guy's incredible. He's been taking care of Bay County athletes for 25 years. 25 years. The guy's unbelievable. Call, make an appointment. He'll see you, and he'll treat you just like he does everybody. The guy's incredible. That Cajun play is one of our favorites. Glenn and I had a great time. We were down there. I really loved it because Glenn picked the bill up. That was fun.
I put it down, too.
We're going to go to the Georgia game. I think we're going to go to the Georgia game. I think we're going to be at 3 o'clock. Probably 11 and 3. I'm not sure yet. But It is championship weekend. We get back sometime during the day. We'll talk about that, make our picks, and talk about Georgia. The two I really want to focus on is the Big Ten and the SEC. And if we have time today, I really want to talk about CBS. They reported some things that are concern from the Big Ten and the SEC. They know this, and they reported it, multiple reports. They're not happy. The Big Ten commissioner, SEC, behind the scenes are not happy with the way things are going. Concerns about this particular committee, and we'll talk about that. And they're going to have to get their way. I think it's another reason Bama's probably going to get in.
Probably.
Yeah, they don't get the 4 from the Big Ten's going to get their 4.
They're already in.
Yeah, and the SEC better get 4 in. That's the word on the street. They better they got the we'll talk about that when we get back. All right, we'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the most college basketball.
Three-pointer, punch it in. College basketball is back.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
The SEC, ACC, and beyond.
Oh, you saw that coming, Rampant.
The biggest games play right here.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Oh, the colors of Christmas. Reds, greens, blues, and golds. Makes me think of the beautiful selection of color gemstone jewelry we have at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. And they're all on sale at 60% off. Rubies, emeralds, sapphires, blue topaz, tanzanites, and many more. On sale now through Christmas at 60% off at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Have the perfect colors of Christmas under your tree this year and shop where Santa shops at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
East 15th Street, Panama City.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
Mid-South Lumber, where they treat you like family. Locally owned and serving the residents of Bay County for over 45 years. See Mid-South Lumber for all of your DIY projects, including windows, doors, siding, lumber, and millwork. Are you building a new home? Bring your contractor in to Mid-South Lumber and meet with a member of their sales team to discuss your framing, siding, windows, and doors. Mid-South Lumber, the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City. 717 West 11th Street.
College football isn't life and death. It's much more important than that. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Florida State, Florida State, Florida State. Woo! Hey, I love this sweatshirt you have on right there. It's American flag on front, American flag on the side. And what's the left side say?
It's the holster company that makes my holster.
I love that. I sure would like to have a gift. Christmas is coming up. Large.
He's already hitting.
I walked in when he wasn't there and got a free T-shirt. His mother gave me. I've gone there a million times in front of Jay. Man, that shirt looks good. I like the cloth. He just turned his head and walked away.
He's trying to make money. And
I know. He got to pay bills. I get it. All right, Jim Bob, FSU Updates brought to you by Newbies. We have 4 great locations, and Glenn's newest one is over in St. Andrews.
That's
you
right,
love that.
On Bayview Avenue, yes, sir.
Go check out all of them. Get out to Newbies, have a great time.
Blue building.
Love John, love Charlotte, Kathy, Will, all those wonderful people at Newbies. Go support them. They're always giving back to the community. Jim Bob, what do you got for us today?
Well, we just spent a whole bunch of time talking about Bobby Bowden and Florida State and making stories up about how good we are and such.
The older you get, the better you are.
That's right. But anyway, there's a lot of transition going on in Florida State, and everybody knows, new offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. And then yesterday I saw that Odell Higgins is still going to be associated with Florida State, but he's going to be the associate head coach. Now, for those who don't know, all of us in this room know who he is, but if you don't know, He's from Bartow, Florida, from Polk County, the center of football in the state of Florida, as James Hale would say.
Good football played in there.
Yeah, he was a great player at Florida State, All-American, played in the NFL for 2 years. But and I didn't know this. I found this out yesterday looking it up. He's the longest tenured coach at the same program. He's been at Florida State for 31 years. This is Odell Higgins. Now, let me tell you what he started off, because I didn't know this. All right, he started off in 94 and 95 at Florida State as a coach, as a tight end and helping the O-line. 96 to 2018, long time, he was a defensive tackle coach. 2019 to just 2019, he was associate head coach in defensive line. 2020 to 24, he was associate head coach and defensive tackle coach. Now he's going to be the associate head coach. I'm not real sure exactly what that all entails, administrative stuff. But if you've ever been to prep, we talk about how tough Mickey Andrews, well, Odell Higgins is another one. We went there one time, and he was meeting with his players in his meeting room, going over the practice tape, because they tape everything, and you always watch it. And they weren't doing very well that day, and he was ripping them a new one, to say the least. And it got to the point where it was uncomfortable. We were watching like, oh, my God, he's like tearing into these guys. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know if we should be seeing this. And finally, he kind of like, guys, I'm going to need to ask you to go. Because this, I said, Coach, it's fine. I understand completely. But he was a tough guy, too. And he was also like a stand-in head coach. Glenn probably knows it was because Jimbo Fisher left, and he took over for like the bowl game, and then when Willie Taggart got fired, he took over then. So he's got actually 6 games as a head coach, as a coach at Florida State.
I think he won those games.
He's 4-2. It was 4-2. It was 4 and Odell for a while. That's what he used to say.
So, the more things change, the more they stay. They've been going to be changed. So we'll see. He's going to be around.
Jim, what did he say? What's his title?
I think he's now the
associate head coach.
Yeah, I think now he's just called. He may be called the assistant head coach now, and he can coach, but he can't go on away games.
Yeah,
something about. But he's not coaching.
He's not going to be. He doesn't have to be down on the field.
No, he's not going to be a position.
No. They talk about continuity with the staff and just management of what they're doing, and just somebody outside the coaching staff that can see recruiting and development and where they need things and gaps to be filled in. So he's not going to have a hands-on coaching job with the team, but he's going to manage the whole staff.
Is this something new?
It must be. And I looked up. I said, he's been there for 31 years. I said, I wonder how old he is. And he's not really that old in the whole grand scheme. He's like 57.
Yeah.
Compare that to Larry Johnson, who's a defensive line coach at Ohio State, who's 72.
Right.
So he's still
72?
He's still got a lot of tread on the tires, as the expression goes, but I don't know if he was forced out. This is just me. I find it really hard that he would willingly go, because he's a lifetime Florida State guy. I mean, that's all he's ever been.
Yeah, well,
that's just me.
That could be announced, but he said he wants to help Norwell however he can.
Right.
And they brought in the defensive line coach, the Knighton guy that came in with White, and so
really well thought of.
Well, they probably the deal to get who they wanted. I'm bringing my people.
And when you get a coordinator, you usually get a chance to hire your own people. I understand that, but to me, this is just me now.
That's where he's still. That's why he's still there.
Where's the loyalty? Like, this guy's been with you for 31 years, and 4 years before that as a player.
It could be a case where he's like, you know what, I'm tired of recruiting. I'm tired of doing this. Let me take an administrative role. That way I'm still involved with Florida State. I'm still getting paid. And,
that could be too.
Yeah, I think
you just never know.
He's still kind of, and I'm not speaking for him, but I think he's still kind of this NIL deal and this money deal stuff and this transfer portal. You got a guy there you worked with for 2 years now, he's gone, so I think that's part of it too. And then, but they're not going to dismiss him unless he wants to go. Right. I guarantee you that.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be focused on recruiting, because their high school recruiting has been lacking. They know that.
And Glenn, I do believe at Florida State, because I remember one time I was talking to the coaches at Florida. It was different. They weren't getting state retirement at one time. They were having to do their own retirement. But I believe at Florida State, they were getting state employees, and so was Florida. But
you know what I'm saying?
They were tied. So he's got his I talked to him one time. I think he's got all 31 years in his retirement system, so he's going to be good financially compared to some of these other guys.
You know, and you probably got that. They let Randy Shannon go yesterday,
right?
And so
we knew they were going to.
Yeah, because he's not a very good recruiter. I'm not. You know, so anyway.
A lot of Florida State fans thought he was a Miami player this year, sabotaging the defense. They were so bad.
I want to tell you guys a story about Odell. All right, our biggest rival was Bartow. I'm pretty sure this is correct. He played on the team. They won a couple state championships. Paul Quinn was the head football coach. He was an old guy, legendary coach down that part of the state. Won multiple state championships. He coached at Lakeland before Castle. I think Castle worked for him at Lakeland. Then he left Lakeland to go to Bartow. And they were like, why would he do that? Well, Bartow has its own little town. Lakeland, you had Lake Gibson and Kathleen. Mm-hmm. Kathleen first, and Lake Gibson was built. So he made a lot. They gave him a lot of money to come to Bartow. So he goes to Bartow. Odell played both ways, if I can remember correctly. We couldn't block him. And you talking about a stud, all state, all everything. Everybody in the country recruited him. And the only district game we lost that year was to them, and they won the state championship. I had Tony Thompson. We had some good players. Harry Mose, Tony Thompson. Harry played at Tennessee. We played them. The place is jam-packed. They beat us. Tony breaks through the middle. It was 40 outside veer. Breaks through there. He's getting ready to score. He never fumbles. He dropped the ball.
Oh, well.
I've never seen anything like it in my life. Anyway, we couldn't block Odell. We couldn't block him. But I talked to Odell about that, and he knew I was head coach. So we knew each other. And we talked about Coach Quinn sometime. He goes, Coach Quinn, I loved him. He was like a father to me. He's talking about high school coaches, how some are really important to the players. Odell was having problems at high school. And Coach Quinn, he'd come to practice. Coach Quinn, you ain't coming. You get in my office, got a school book, got somebody to help him, getting the work done in the classroom before he would let him come to practice. Now me, you asked to come to practice and you do that after. But he knew the kid could play anywhere in the country he wanted to go. And he wasn't going to get to play in the college level unless he had the GPA to get in. So he said, to heck with that. You're staying in my office and you're going to get your schoolwork done. Then when you get your grades up and stuff like that, you come to practice. And Odell said that he'll never forget that. He'll never forget that. But Odell he was a great kid. Back then you could just tell he was a really great person. And I knew he was going to do great things because in high school, he was like a man playing with boys. Yeah. And then at Florida State, hell, he was great at Florida State. Yeah. Unbelievable.
When Memphis played FSU, Keith Bland cut him one time, sprained his ankle. So every time we'd go to the camp, we'd go, Odell, Keith's here.
Well, I can tell you what, Keith was smart. You don't want to hit him up high.
No, but he just did the cut thing when the guy runs off, and he ended up somehow. But it was kind of funny, those two guys. But
how many coaches now have they gotten rid of? Y'all know the number?
Well, both coordinators
and both coordinators.
Defensive line, that's at least 3.
Yeah.
And Sartain may be a head coach at one of these openings too. So the defensive.
That's what they were talking about too. We all knew it was coming. Oklahoma State got rid of. I mean, he was there forever, and he's got rid of 2. And one of the guys, the offensive coordinator, like his best friend. He got rid of both of them. You know what? The next step is you either get rid of them, or they get rid of you.
Right.
So that gives him more time. But right after recruiting's done, that's when everybody starts getting fired. Yeah. You don't want to and they keep that stuff quiet. The head coaches keep all that stuff quiet. We don't want to lose these relationships. We have these high school coaches, these players. We got to get them on sign them scholarship.
Do you think these guys
then
are
you're gone.
Bad coaches all of a sudden? I mean, I think it's got more to do with the NIL and these kids getting paid. You're not being able to practice the way we used to. You can't be hard on these kids. So
they got all the power.
We talked about this with Fire and Ryan Day. Who do you go get? There's not a lot of great coaches out there.
See, I think you're both wrong on that.
I'm not saying we're
I think
totally
there are
right.
great coaches out there, and they would do an unbelievable job. They just don't have a big name. And I see guys doing a great job. They're 8-4, in some of these schools. They do a great job coaching.
But who would you guarantee would go 45-1 in the Big Ten?
I think a lot of people would do great at Ohio State. I'm sorry. Ohio State.
I just don't see it.
How many did Cooper win? Nobody beat him but Michigan.
No, he got beat pretty,
10-2 every year.
South Carolina, Tennessee, Auburn beat him. I mean, he couldn't win a bowl game either. So, my whole point is this.
Coach Bryant.
Cooper's not a good comparison.
If you look at
Coach Bryant never won. Coach Bryant lost 9 bowl games in a row.
Look at some of the top names that you saw out there last year. DeBoer. Is that a guarantee that he's better than Ryan Day right now with what he's done in Alabama this year? A guarantee. This is I'm firing my coach. I'm going to get rid of Caleb Downs. I'm going to get rid of Jarrett Smiley-Smith to hire this guy, and he's going to turn it around. What about Lane Kiffin?
I just know there are good, really great coaches out there that nobody even know about.
I see 2 that I would trust, and it's Dan Lanning and Kirby Smart. Those are the only 2 guys I would say, yep.
I honestly think Dabo would win up there.
I don't. Dabo's way behind the times. Way behind the times. Doesn't embrace the portal. Doesn't want to bring in,
There's certain
guys.
schools you're going to win. You're going to win Ohio State.
I think Dabo now, they're going to have some kind of some kind of investment.
Oh, wait a minute. What did you say? Let's take, you made it break
Dabo could have the last laugh here, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know.
Really good.
I'm telling y'all, laugh at me not. Watch out for Tennessee. If the quarterback gets hot in the playoffs, they're good enough on defense.
You're not going to get hot if they're playing in Ohio State.
That's right.
Well, they play in Knoxville, they got a shot. They go to Columbus, they ain't going to win there. All right, let's talk about some wonderful people we got. I tell you where you're going to win every time. That's Max Fit Sports Nutrition. I know you're going to win there. Jason, how can they get up with you?
I'm on 23rd Street next to the Del Coronado, or in the Del Coronado Village next to Tzatziki's, and we're in Pier Park North next to Dick's Sporting Goods. We got a certified sports nutrition on staff, so if you want to get a jump start on your New Year's resolutions, maybe jump on a meal plan and start to lose weight, gain body or gain muscle, just come into either Max Fit, set up an appointment. We can get you on your in-body scan, and we can get you on the right track, tell you what to eat, when to eat it, and we have a free sample bar for our supplements. So if you're looking for a new vitamin, collagen, protein, intra-workout product, just come down there, utilize our free sample bar. You don't have to buy anything to try our products out, so you can come down there, try them out for free. We got some really good products. And guys, if you're getting up there in age, 35, 40,
why'd you look at me?
Feel like your test levels are getting low, we got some really, really good new test boosters in that can help you elevate your hormones, make you feel like you're in your 20s and 30s again. So come down there, just talk to us, and utilize our free sample bar to try some products out.
All right. I tell you what, he knows what he's talking about. The guy's incredible. Also, Julie's does this, the meal plan.
Max Fit Meals, yeah.
That's
another
a big
aspect.
deal. If you want to get healthy, lose weight, or you can get muscle mass, either one, this is what you need to do.
So we have a menu now. You go to Max Fit Meals anytime. You can order right from there. We have a bulk ordering menu that you can order from our menu this week. We also have a custom plan where we can design, if you have foods that you want that are different, we can cook those foods for you too. And now we're doing corporate catering, and we've done a lot of catering. We had 10 caterings over the last 4 weeks. So if you're a corporate office or a group that wants some catering and wants some healthier alternatives, lasagna, stuff like that, it's good food. It's made by a chef. Just contact Max Fit Meals at anytime at gmail.com.
Hey, also, take care of your skin. If it doesn't look right, feel right, 5 minutes can save your life. Go see Dr. Ward. There's offices throughout Northwest Florida. Guy's incredible. You can listen to him every Wednesday right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Also, don't forget about Taco Bell, especially you Tiger Sharks down there. They do DoorDash, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Taco Bell. If you love pizza, Glenn, you should have went. I went down there. Honest to God, I asked the guy, they give you 2 slices. I said, can you cut this slice in half? It's like a pizza. For $11, I had to give away some of it. I couldn't eat it all. I was going to give you half of it. I wasn't going to buy your own. I was going to give you half of mine. But Paparazzi's unbelievable. Right. The bakery's unbelievable. The Paradise Cake, try it. You'll absolutely love it. They got a bar in there now. It's on Thomas Drive, Paparazzi Pizza. We'll be right back, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida on a beautiful cold Friday in Paradise. This is the Manly Storytelling Time. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The magic plays here.
Tonight, we're going to take you to the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia as the surging Orlando Magic play the struggling 76ers. Tip-off coming up tonight at 6. We'll have live play-by-play for you right here on your spot for the Orlando Magic.
Your new home for select Orlando Magic games. The NBA is on. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. Mostly clear this afternoon and evening with a moderate breeze out of the north-northeast around 13 miles per hour and temps near 54. Tonight we will have mostly clear skies and a wind speed of 8 miles per hour and be above freezing at 39. Mostly sunny tomorrow and a high 60. Some sun Sunday with a temp of 67. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Do you know who I am?
If he was the last person on Earth,
kind of a big deal.
Mankind would still have a chance.
We may have to repopulate the Earth.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
I'm very important.
Live from the J. Michael Studio on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Coach at Ohio State. Hey, welcome back. We're fighting in here about Ohio State Buckeyes. All right, I just want to make a couple points, and you tell me. I think you will side with me. I'm not sure about Glenn, but I think you will. Ohio State's a different job than
no question.
Any of them. This is an opinion show, and everybody's got a different opinion. And we're not right, we're not wrong. It's just an opinion. To me, the two best jobs in football is Alabama and Ohio State. You've got to win there. Everybody knows going in, but they're going to do whatever you need to do to win there. You're going to get every opportunity. There's no excuses not to win. What's his record's like 66-5 or something like. It's incredible, his record.
He's got the third highest winning percentage in college football history.
And they want to fire him.
Behind Walter Camp, and I believe.
Well, Urban was better, wasn't it?
No.
What?
No.
Well, I thought it was. So anyway, they want him fired because of one game. All right. I'm telling Jason, I think there's other great coaches out there. And I think other guys would go in there and win just as big. Maybe not. I think they could. And I'm going to give you an example. This is not high school. This is college. There was a hot shot coach, and I'm not going to mention anybody's name. There was at St. Thomas Aquinas. And everything he did, he was brilliant. Man, good God, look at the record. Look what he did. Well, he came to a county, not down there. He came up in the Panhandle, coach at a school, and he didn't win crap. They've been coaches that coach at Jacksonville Bowls that everybody bows down, kisses their butt because they win so much. They go coach at some public school somewhere else, and they can't get it done. And I will even say this, as good as he is, the guy at Lakeland, Bill Shields, I think Bill Castle will tell you the same thing. You're at Lakeland, you're going to win because when you line up and play, you got better players 99% of the time who you're going to be playing against. Paul Quinn would tell you the same thing. He goes and coaches where he knows every year they're going to have great players. At Ohio State and Alabama, there's no excuses. You should win. And I think there are, and I do. I think there are good coaches out there that would win at Ohio State. I think there's guys that we don't even know anything about that could go up there and do a good job. But you're right. You don't get those opportunities. You got to go through the process and get a big name to get a big time job like that. He didn't. I'm sorry. Harbaugh was right. He's been born on third base. He was given the keys to a brand new Cadillac.
Yeah, he was.
That just doesn't happen.
I'm not arguing that at all, and I'm not arguing his flaws at all. My point is, there's so many coaches out there with flaws. Like when you start to break down the Lane Kiffins, the DeBoers, everything, they have similar issues as Ryan Day. You know, and Ryan Day to me has been a better recruiter than anybody ever thought of. After Urban Meyer, we were all like, "Oh my God, we're going to go back to the Tressel days," because Tressel was an elite recruiter. He had good players. He identified what he liked for his system, but Urban Meyer took Ohio State to a different level talent-wise.
Oh, no question.
Yeah, and then when he stepped in, we were all like, oh, man, this is going to go downhill. He's recruited as good, if not better, than Urban Meyer, and I think that's where people are like, you know, we lost to Michigan. You know, do we let him figure this out, or do we pull the Band-Aid off and fire him and go get who? You know, that's my point. Who is going to step in and be as good? Keep those type of kids, the Jeremiah Smiths, the Caleb Downs, the Travion Hendersons, the Quashon Junkins, I mean, Justin Fields,
I do say
Joe Burrow. I mean,
I really believe that going forward with the way college football is now, if you lose 2 games, and I think Ohio State's going to lose 2 games in the future, it's not the end of the world, like you pointed out.
It's not.
It's just the way it's going to be from now on, because everybody's got players. In the past, Ohio State had all the players. Their second team was better than other teams' first team. Same thing with Alabama and Georgia. They were stocked with NFL players on the whole roster. Now everybody's got players.
My biggest issue with Day has been coordinator hire and some of his position coach hires. The offensive line has been a disaster since he's been there, and they just have not fixed it and found the right formula there. If they fix that, to me, they win a national championship already with them. And the defensive coordinator, when they hired Combs, that put them behind like 2-3 years, and they're just now recovering. So, and there's always this little, like, you know, things where he mismanages time or something like that. But do you allow him to get? What is Kirby Smart against Alabama? What's his record?
1-7.
1-6. 1-6.
You know, here's the factor, and you know, Jason's an Ohio person like I am. There's a lot of people. You go online and you hear what they say, or not hear, but you see what they say. There's a lot of people. You have to hire an Ohio coach to coach at Ohio State. And I absolutely positively do not believe that.
I don't believe that either.
That used to be that way at Alabama.
And
most people are like that.
And then they say, and I even posted this, what I'm about to say, and you got to have more Ohio State or Ohio players because they know about the rivalry. Okay. Let's stop that nonsense for just 1 second. Right. Both offensive guards this past game against Michigan, the left guard and the right guard, were the only guys in that offensive line from Ohio. Those guys got absolutely abused.
Oh, yeah.
So the fact that they knew about that rivalry, did that help them block the guys that just beat them in the next month? No, not one bit. So it's such crazy, and that narrative exists out there because it's an easy take. It's easy to say, well, they're going to get more Ohio players. All right, let me give you another name. Where was J.T. Barrett from? Texas, and he's probably the physically toughest player that Ohio State in my lifetime.
He's a Tim Tebow kind of
He played
clone.
with like broken legs and stuff.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? He's from Texas. Okay, where's Stroud from? Oh, that's right, California. That's right. Where's Bosa from?
Yeah, where's Bosa from?
Florida.
St. Thomas Aquinas.
So,
there you go. There you go.
So my point is, you know, you fight a lot of that nonsense too. It doesn't. You got to have more Ohio. No,
Ezekiel
you don't.
Elliott, St. Louis, Missouri. I mean, you know.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Chase Young, Maryland.
Where was Jack Tatum from? New York. Okay.
And I don't want anybody to think I've given a stamp of approval today. I'm as frustrated as anybody.
Yeah.
This has as much talent on this team as anybody. My entire point is this. I've seen a lot of bad coaches out there. I've seen a lot of teams that Ole Miss that were going to win a national championship. They had the best team ever.
LSU's another one.
LSU's another one. You know, Auburn, you know, Hugh Freeze is going to be the savior. Not that he has a lot of time, but second year, you're not even going to a bowl game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and I'll be honest, the reason I kept saying this to both, and I do, I believe it. Y'all can think I'm crazy or not. I do think there's better people out there. And I'll give you 2 examples. The one in the national championship game, I've coached a long time. And when I saw Ohio State put a linebacker on All-American receivers and expect those guys to cover, and I'm going, you got to be kidding me. You got a head football coach that's going to allow this to happen in a national championship game. And then I see him.
We were saying the same thing.
I was texting you at halftime.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there are other coaches out there that won't make that mistake.
Right.
But then I watched this last game, and the only thing they wasted timeouts. They had a 2-minute break. They don't have the right personnel on the field. He had to go run down the field and call another timeout. You just don't see that with the elite coach. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. It's just in my opinion.
Right. No, I mean, I think we're closer to the issues as everything. I just don't know what the answer is because I don't see one out there that's just a clear, this is going to be 100%. Like, to me, Urban Meyer would be an upgrade as far as coaching, but he comes with the baggage.
I think Urban's the best out there.
For sure, but he's already come out with a statement yesterday saying he has no interest to coaching.
Who started all this rumor? Because I even had it down. I forgot to read it. That he was interested, letting know behind the scenes he would be interested.
Jay Crawford is Cleveland Cavalier beat writer, I believe. He's working at ESPN. He actually told that to Jay Crawford on his podcast.
So why all of a sudden now he's going?
Because he put so much heat on that program. I mean, he put so much heat on Ryan Day to think that Urban Meyer might be out there. Now you're looking at Ryan Day thinking, okay, we can fire him now because we got this guy in the wings. So he wanted to shut that down and give Ryan Day a support. Ryan Day's his guy.
But the great thing about this, I always say it doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. I worry about his health. I looked at that man and I felt for him because I went through something, not like that, but something that,
when he
it's
said
sad.
It hurt him as much to lose to Michigan as losing his dad, I was like, whoa, your priorities are a little messed up, and this is maybe too much for you. You know what I'm saying? Because that should never be said out of your mouth.
Well, I tell you, somebody will never say the wrong thing and never do the wrong thing, and that's Pat down at Turf Pro Pest Control. Your yard will look absolutely beautiful.
He should be happy about FSU.
Yeah, he is.
Good.
Call, make an appointment. He'll come out. They'll get a game plan up. Your yard will look absolutely beautiful. Turf Pro Pest Control, #1. Listen to Patrick every Monday morning at 8:30 right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Hey, Wildcat, where's our favorite place to go if we're going to get some great jewelry?
We go hang out at 830 Highway 77 in Lynn Haven at David Adamson Jewelers, David Adamson Designer Jewelry. And right now they got holiday hours from 10 to 2 on Saturday. Still time to get that one-of-a-kind gift for that person you love. David Adamson Designer Jewelry.
And when you're down there, do what we do. Head on down to Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven and get the best food you'll get anywhere. The atmosphere is second to none. When you walk in, they treat you like family. I love the customer service down there. It's incredible. Of course, Pat Perno's the boss down there. He's a city commissioner. If you know Pat, then you know whatever he touches turns to gold. The guy's incredible. Get out to Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven and have a great time. Go watch all the games this weekend there. We'll be right back. Jim Brandt, Jason Kovaleski, and the legendary Glenn Manley, right here on Wildcat 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
So 1, 2, 3, take my hand and come with me because you look so fine that I really want to make you mine.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for the NFL.
Touchdown, Denver!
We bring you the biggest games every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night.
Oh, he's got the first down!
Plus, we'll broadcast more college football games than ever before.
He did what?
Live NFL and college football play here.
Unbelievable!
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Attention homeowners, are you dreaming of a backyard oasis? Look no further than S&R Fencing, your go-to destination for quality outdoor transformations. At S&R, they specialize in crafting custom fences, decks, retainer walls, and all exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
Northwest Florida's home for college football bowl games. WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Powered by Panama City Toyota.
Is your backyard ready for paradise? Then transform it with B&E Outdoor Furniture. Custom crafted, durable, composite furniture with our bent back design built for comfort. And listen up. Through February, get 10% off your first purchase at B&E Outdoor Furniture. Visit our showroom today, 12035 Panama City Beach Parkway, or call 850-240-0830 and see our collection online at beandoutdoorfurniture.com. B&E Outdoor Furniture. Get a deal for a steal.
On the run.
Time to let the big dogs eat.
How about that answer by Georgia? To the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael Studio. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Roll Tide, roll. This is storytelling time today, as you can tell, and we appreciate you listening. A cold, beautiful day in paradise. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. A lot of people tell me they enjoy listening to this young man, the legendary Jeff Spiegel out of Birmingham, Alabama. And again, go watch these SEC specials, 30 for 30 on the ESPN. You'll see his face and you'll hear his voice when they want to know what's going on in the world of college athletics, especially college football. It's Jeff Spiegel in the SEC. How you doing, sir?
Great, Coach. I want to send out my apologies, first of all, because I'm sending your daughter out into the bitterly cold weather at Protective Stadium to cover Parker and Sarah Land tonight for the 6A state football championship. But look, I'm sure she cheered in cold weather when she cheered at Southern Miss.
She did. She's used to it. She's tough. And
her daddy's a wimp. But
she's been mean to me anyway. So go ahead, do it.
Right.
She did tell me. She texted last night. Says I got to go. I'm freezing. I got to go cover a high school state championship game tomorrow. Hey, speaking of high school football down there, was it Tom? Did they win another one? Did Thompson win another one?
They did. They won their fifth state title in 6 years. They beat Central Phoenix City 21-7, the same team who beat them last year and ended their 4-year state championship run. So Thompson's back on top at 7A.
Was Bo Nix at the game?
Bo Nix was at the game with security people around him.
Oh, yeah.
So he was not really available to do any interviews because he's even bigger time than he was a year ago when he was here.
Hey, listen, I had people thought I was crazy because when I watched him play high school football, I'd go to Jamie sometimes, come up there, and I'd go stand on the sidelines with her and watch the games up there. And I watched him, and I said, this kid could win a Heisman. This kid could play in the NFL. And I'm talking, bragging on him up here, and all these people, they were like, what are you talking about? He's this, he's that. And I turned out to be right. I mean, he went to Oregon, and everything went great for him, and he's starting now at NFL. So,
well, it took him 15 years.
He's 30 years old, but still. But that guy's could you tell Jeff? You watched these games for years. You know about talent. Did you think he would get to where he's at right now? Because I did. When I watched him play in high school, I said, this guy's going to be something special.
You're setting me up for this, I know, because you probably know this story. But when Bo signed with Auburn out of Pinson Valley High School, I told everybody in the sports office, I said, this guy is going to win the Heisman Trophy by the time he's a junior at Auburn. And everybody laughed at me.
Yeah.
And so just to remind me that I made that prediction, they went to like another room, like in the building that's rarely used, and they wrote it in like I think in permanent marker, like on the wall, just to remind me that I made that prediction.
That was probably Jamie.
And I felt like he was vastly underappreciated at Auburn. I really do.
Yeah.
And then he went on to Oregon, and he wound up being a Heisman Trophy finalist. He didn't win the Heisman, but I've always loved the kid. I think he's made out of just a lot of special stuff, and I'm glad he's having the success he's having right now.
Yeah, now he was there supporting his dad. His dad was coaching.
Yes.
What school was it?
Phoenix
City.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Red Devils.
Yeah. So.
Yes, that's right.
All right, I want to talk to you from my heart, okay? And don't get mad at me.
He's sitting on his heart. So.
That's his head.
almost, and we've been talking about this kind of stuff now. And this is, and I'll be positive later, but I'm going to be negative now. Watching the Iron Bowl, we had talked about bringing Lorelai and Leighton and my son and Julie and I going to the Iron Bowl. Mariah, my daughter, she's like a daughter to me, but she went to the Missouri game with some friends, so we were going to go, and she was going to stay home with our baby, my 8-month-old grandson, Johnny. But anyway, I'm glad I didn't go now. I'm watching the game, and when I hear the entire stadium, and I love the Dixieland Delight. I love what they do, and they're pretty good about blaring it out real loud where you can't hear what they say about the Auburn part. But when you hear it, every part of the song, the F word, when you got little kids there, I just remember growing up, and I say it all the time. Coach Bryant used to talk all the time about showing class. You know, you do the right things, you show class. To me, that's a bad look on the university. It's a bad look on Alabama. And then the other thing that disappointed me, again, a fight breaking out in the Iron Bowl when Suge Jordan was coached there, when Pat Dye coached there. You never saw that kind of stuff from Auburn. And when you saw Nick Saban and Bear Bryant coaching, all those coaches, you never saw that from Alabama. I know it's a different world, different time now that we live in. But that was disappointing when he got number 8, and I forgot his name. You can't get him off the field, and he's pushing coaches' arms away. And this is the second time I've seen something like this from an Alabama football team. And then in the stadium, everybody's saying the F word. So am I wrong on this? What, I mean, you're an older guy too. I mean, you're about 50 years old.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah. Is it just we're old and we hadn't changed, or are we right? Is this a? I just think it's classless that Alabama's doing this.
Well, it's just different. I mean, it's a different era. It's a different era of athlete. It's a different. It's different, and there are many ways where, you know, the difference, you know, okay, but there are many ways that's different where, you know, people, especially in your and my generation, go, I'm not on board with that, you know. And I'll give you another example. We were at the Parker High School signing day, and, 8 Parker kids signed, including Naeem Offord, who flipped from Ohio State to Oregon. And we're putting this on the live stream, and there's a young man who is, deciding between Tennessee and Miami. And so he puts on the Miami hat, and then with his parents sitting right by him, he throws the Miami hat and he says, F that.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
With his mom and dad right there.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking on the way home in the car. I said, if I said something like that, and my mom and dad were sitting by me, my dad would go, all right, no, you're not going to Miami. You're not going to Tennessee. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Till you can, straighten up your attitude and behave like a young man is supposed to in public, And
this is a team that
this Dixieland Delight thing. I'm wondering. I've always wondered if Randy Owen's okay with that.
Yeah, really.
With taking his song and then throwing, the F-bomb.
It was Jeff, you saw it. It was bad. I mean, every other second they were saying it. And I'll be honest with you. I've been to the Iron Bowl in Auburn a lot. I don't ever remember Auburn players or fans saying, I'm sure they did, but I didn't hear it, F Alabama during some kind of cheer and stuff. Maybe they do. They do. Maybe they do now. But I was, we used to have respect for our opponents, I don't know.
Well, I will say this. The emotions for that game ran higher than any Iron Bowl that I've ever seen. Yeah. And it goes back to Monday when DeMarcus Riddick ran off his mouth,
true.
Talking about Jalen Milroe and all that. And those Alabama guys came in with an edge, with some anger. I mean, Malachi Moore, he came in with, the whole defense came in with just an angry edge about them. So, I could have predicted something like that was going to happen. But one thing I wondered, why wasn't Keandre Lambert-Smith flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct? Because it looked to me, like he pushed Devontae Smith into the bench.
He did.
That's what started it all, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, since we're speaking on this, let me ask you this. I used to watch the game, Ohio State, Michigan, grew up watching it, Woody Hayes, Bo Schembechler. I don't remember back in the time where they were disrespectful to the other teams and trying to plant a flag. When did they start doing this? Remember in the old days you would shake their hand, and show class and walk off the field or jog off the field. Now we got, throughout college football, everybody's planting flags on the field, away games.
Mayfield.
Yeah.
Baker started that nonsense.
Yeah. But I think they got to do away with that. I just don't. I think that's classless. But I'm not saying Ohio State was right what they did, how they responded, but I don't know.
So if that happened at Alabama would be good with it and just say, "Oh, you're good. Go ahead, play."
You know what the fans would say if that happened? They didn't defend the field. They just let them plant a flag. I mean, that's a recipe for disaster. I think we're going to see that outlawed in the next year.
Yeah. Well, let's hear from the expert,
right,
Jeff. Straighten us out. Hey, they had 60 minutes to start. They had 60 minutes to fight on the field. They want to fight after the game.
Well, that's so true. So if the logo at midfield means that much to you, then spend 60 minutes protecting it like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it would be, if my mom were still here and she saw that stuff, she'd be going, well, you know what? If we all can't play with a flag, then we're just going to leave it at home. We're going to leave it at home. If we can't play nice with the flag, then we're going to leave it at home, and no one's going to get to play with it.
But all of us coach or played or at what level? What level would you allow a team to come into your stadium no matter what happened? Because you're trying. I mean, some teams are just better that day.
Right.
And plant a flag on the middle of your field in your face.
What coach of the winning team would let that happen?
That's my point. Yeah. I mean, it's just a recipe for disaster. The kids aren't going to let it happen. The kids are going to try to do it. There's going to be fights.
It's like there's no control.
No, there is no control. We've given so much power to the players with all this money, and now they're more powerful than the coaches.
Well,
that's why you see these guys disrespect coaches.
After it happened all day.
Yeah, what he just said is perfectly what's going on right now. Let's take a break. Jeff, we can hold you over?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Again, storytelling time, opinion time on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. If you live in the Panhandle of Florida, it's Stevenson Air Conditioning all the time. You have any type of problem, and this weather is brutal. The wind chill factor is down in the 30s, 20s, whatever it is, and your power bill is going through the roof. Call Stevenson Air Conditioning. They'll come out and they'll give a game plan of what you need to do to help your house to save energy, to keep it warmer. They do a great job, and they're there for you anytime, day or night, throughout the Panhandle of Florida. Stevenson Air Conditioning, number one. We'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. That's what they were good. I'm ready to do this.
You're home for college football. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This Saturday, it's a college football triple header. Start the day with the Big 12 Championship. It's Iowa State versus Arizona State. Coverage starts at 10, followed by Georgia versus Texas in the SEC Championship at 3. Then Saturday night, it's the ACC Championship game with Clemson versus SMU. Kickoff at 7 on your home for college football. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. Mostly clear this afternoon and evening with a moderate breeze out of the north-northeast around 13 miles per hour and temps near 54. Tonight we will have mostly clear skies and a wind speed of 8 miles per hour and be above freezing at 39. Mostly sunny tomorrow and a high 60. Some sun Sunday with a temp of 67. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Here at Panama City Toyota, Toyotathon is on, where you can get refined design and 3.99% APR on a new Camry, plus 90 days until you make your first payment. Enjoy the ride in a new Corolla and get 3.99%, plus 90 days until you make your first payment. Or stand out in a new RAV4 and get 3.99% APR. Good cheer and great deals. Toyotathon at Panama City Toyota.
Offer expires January 6th. Visit PanamaCityToyota.com for details.
Are payment processing fees eating into your profits? With Bay County POS, local businesses are saving time and money with secure, seamless merchant services. Reduce credit card processing fees and save up to 3.9% on gross sales. From quick, contactless payments to detailed sales reporting, it's Bay County POS. For a free consultation, call 850-359-3906. Bay County POS. Local service, global standards.
For everything in the world of golf, it's the Watson Report. Thursdays at 4:20 with Alan Watson from Golf Plus. ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael Studio.
Eagle, hey!
That was a drunkie.
Great job, Walker.
The Eagle has been to do the icing on the wings.
He used to play it.
I know.
Anyway,
Stand up and yell.
I do love their fight song. Well, hey, you know what? I haven't done a good job on this. I'm excited about this. Historical downtown Panama City on Harrison Avenue, local 115. Legendary family, Vandergriffs, their son, and some other partners are going to have a brand new restaurant, local 115. It's a sports-themed oyster bar. It's going to be incredible. Oysters, crab cakes, steamed seafood, gumbo salads, wings, ice-cold beer, kind of a healthier option, nothing fried, lunch and dinner. Grand opening will be soon. Hang on, and we'll let you know all about it. This is going to be a great place to go to. Let's talking about great people and great things. Let's bring Jeff back on. Jeff, I want to talk about the Auburn Tigers. 3 opportunities, 4 turnovers, 6 points. First half, they could have done some great things, could have put the game, maybe, puts a lot of heat on Bama. They ran Hunter early in the game. He had some big plays. Then they kind of shut it down from him. Maybe Alabama shut it down. But the play calling, I questioned a little bit. But he saved himself. I think he's on the hot seat. That's just me. You got to win at Auburn. In my lifetime, Auburn's never had 4 losing seasons in a row. They have now. But they just brought in one of the best recruiting classes they've had in a long, long time. He did a great job recruiting. Alabama, I talked, I'm not going to say who, but I talked to a former employee of Nick Saban, and DeBoer has great relationships with people on the West Coast. 7 of the players of the 21, I think it's 21, came from California. Are they great players? I'm sure they are. But you also got to take care of your home state in Florida, in Mississippi, and Georgia, and Louisiana. And Auburn kicked our butt in state recruiting. We'll know in a couple of years if that's true or not, but on paper, you'd have to say they did. But his recruiting has been outstanding, but I think he better win 7 or 8 games next year to keep his job at Auburn. And that's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong. They might be really pleased with him. I don't know. But listen to Auburn people that I do know, they're tired of losing football games. What's your take on what I just said? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I crazy? What do you think?
No, I think you're right. I think, I think he needs to win 8 games, I think, next year to keep his job. I think people were not happy with the way the year went and the way things have gone, under his leadership. But I think people also understand that, that Brian Harsin came in there and didn't recruit. I don't know how good of a coach he was, but he didn't recruit. I mean, I know that for a fact because they've been behind the 8 ball, in terms of recruiting. So here's another great recruiting class. I was at Parker Wednesday and saw Jordan Crawford sign with Auburn, and Jordan loves Coach Freeze and says the class of 2025 is going to bring this thing back. And Anquan Fagans for Thompson, fantastic player, a safety, for Thompson. Jared Smith, an incredible edge rusher, for that team. And so there's some great talent coming in. They've already got some, good talent there. But,
Malik Autry.
It's one thing. Yes, absolutely. And it's one thing to have the talent, but it's another thing to coach them up and get them to where they need to go. And getting back to that Iron Bowl, I mean, I was highly disappointed when he didn't go for it there at 4th and goal at the end of the first half.
Yeah.
I thought he sent an incredibly weak message to his team, to his fan base when he didn't. And then the time when he didn't need to gamble, he's got Jarquez Hunter trying to throw a pass,
Yeah.
And then he throws Jarquez under the bus after the game.
That's what surprised me. Yeah.
He didn't recognize the safety coverage, and he should have thrown it back to Peyton. And well, how about this? How about giving a guy that's been blessed, with the ability to run the football? Why don't you put a hat in a hat and try to get him some more yards and use him for what he's best, suited for?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I love what you just said because I was thinking the exact same thing. But he kind of covered himself at the very end. After he threw him under the bus and ran over him back and forth about 3 times, he goes, at the very end, after saying all those negative things, he goes, yeah, maybe we didn't coach him up right on that play. He did. I said, hey, okay, yeah.
He's
my bad.
evolving.
Anyway, no, what, I don't know. I want to get back to this recruiting thing. I'm concerned about that. Coach Dye, when he came into Auburn, he coached Coach Bryant for 9 years. He knew how important it was to get the top recruits to come to Alabama. And he knew how important it was to him being the head coach at Auburn to get the top players to come to Auburn. And he did it. Now, we got a head coach that has no experience coaching and recruiting in the SEC. And I think he's good. I give him, he won 9 games this year. He did a good job. But they got to straighten this out. We're not going to live and die recruiting the state of California, the West Coast. We better do a better job in recruiting players in Alabama and in Florida, in the South. And this is not me saying it. This is somebody that did this for a living, that did it at the University of Alabama, that had all the connections in the Southeast and the country, one of the best recruiting staffs around that Nick Saban put together, and you fire almost all of them. That still rubs me the wrong way. Of course, one of my former players, so that's another reason. So I think we got to get the and it's going to take time. I get it. They're going to take time for him to develop relationships with coaches in the South, high school coaches in the South. I get that, and he had relationships with people in California. So I get all that. But going forward, am I crazy? But I know we've got some great players from that West Coast in the past.
Najee Harris?
Yeah, I know
Bryce
that.
Young.
But we've never lost out on the top players in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, where's Turbo going? Oh, that's right. He's going to Columbus.
Yeah. Oh, let me ask you this. When in the past you remember some of the best players in our state not going to Alabama, not going to Auburn, but going to Ohio State or going to Oregon? That's something else. And that's that NIL money. What's your take on What's your take on that?
Well, yeah, and while we're talking about that, we need to mention the fact that we bragged on Auburn getting all these in-state guys. Well, who was number 3 on Naeem Offert's list? Of schools, Auburn. Jordan Crawford has been twisting this kid's arm all year long, trying to get him to go with him to Auburn, and I think Oregon. I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are, but I'm sure they offered Naeem a terrific, NIL package. We were interviewing him after, his decision, and he said, yeah, I'm going to major in communications there. I'm going to make my own shoe, So, he's got big plans, and I'm sure they're taking care of him, financially out there.
They're buying him left and right.
But let me ask you this: why would all these teams support Nike when they're turning around and using Nike money to buy players and steal recruits from them?
That's
because
a great question.
Ohio State thought they had them sealed up on the signing day. They thought they had the best package, NIL deal. Phil Knight comes in and says, "Oh, we need this guy. Hey, I'm going to make a shoe for you." You're not going to make a shoe for Ohio State players? Would you not make a shoe for LeBron James now? Because if he went to Ohio State, so. I think this is going to be a little area where
Alabama's a Nike school. We're helping them.
75% are Nike schools.
That's a great point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and but I think it's just that this has become it already was a big business, but it's become just even bigger than we thought it would be.
Jeff, when we have here, I want to ask the most obvious question in the room from James Hale. He won't ask it, but I'm going to ask it. They're not playing an SEC championship, and how does Clemson, sitting at 9-3, affect Alabama's chances to get in? What's your take in that whole scenario? Because James wants to know what you think.
Well, here's what I think. I think if Clemson wins, Alabama's sweating a little bit. If Clemson beats SMU, let's say in like 3 overtimes and it's 31-30, I think Alabama's sweating a little bit more. But when it comes right down to it, the college football playoff bus is driven by the SEC and the Big 12. I don't see any way if Clemson beats SMU that Alabama or that SMU is put in the playoff ahead of Alabama. I just don't see any way that happens.
It's all about money.
I don't think SMU.
Now the committee's hoping that SMU wins and it doesn't get messy.
Right.
Yeah.
But if it's a close game and Clemson wins, of course Clemson goes in automatically, and then SMU is going to be squawking that they should go in because they shouldn't be penalized for losing a conference championship game. But I think Rhett Lashley has made the message clear this week. Guys, we don't count on getting in if we lose this thing. We got to win this thing to get in, and that's the way we got to approach it.
I don't think SMU has a better resume than Miami. So if you're looking at just resumes and comparing them, they have the exact same resume as Miami. So I don't see why they would say, oh, yeah, SMU's in, other than the conference championship, that they don't want to penalize the team for that. That's the only thing I could think of philosophy-wise. But if you're comparing resumes, it's almost exactly like Miami's
you
resume.
You better not let your quarterback go down or you'll be out.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, there's one, I'll say it right now in front of these guys. There's one team, if we do get in, I don't want to play Ohio State. I'd rather go to Notre Dame or Penn State. And I got a feeling I think we're going to get the Buckeyes. I don't want that matchup.
The Tennessee's going to go to the Buckeyes.
Just depends.
We'll see.
So if Oregon beats Penn State pretty good, because Ohio State holds that head-to-head, they might drop below and move Ohio State up, where Penn State would be playing Tennessee and then Ohio State would be playing Alabama. So that's the games you need to be looking at and how they lose that game. So the committee did say they're not going to punish a team for losing the championship games, which means they're not going to push them out, but they are going to evaluate every game. And
they're going to have to tweak the numbers.
Hey Jeff, are you really busy? Because I got to take a break, and I did want to ask you one question. Just take a couple minutes. All right, if you got to go, I understand.
Sure. No, I'm good.
Okay, good. Okay, we'll be through you with it. We'll hold you on to 9 o'clock then. Anyway, hey, I want some jewelry. I want to get Jeff a Christmas gift. Where can I go?
Well, he certainly deserves it, and all you got to do is get off your butt, go to 830 Highway 77 to David Adamson Designer Jewelry. One-of-a-kind jewelry is made right there. David Adamson Designer Jewelry.
And I tell you what, Russ and his crew and Amber, they do a great job, man. They truly do. And they got a sales going on. You're over in Lynn Haven, Florida. Head out there and have a great time. J. Michael's Restaurant on beautiful Panama City Beach, the best seafood, the coldest beer. Come join us today at lunch. Glenn might actually pay your bill.
Thanks.
Maybe not. I'm not sure. All right, we'll be right back. And don't forget about South Oak Title and Closing throughout the Panhandle of Florida. Mark Cowart down 30A, multi-million-dollar homes. They always use South Oak Title and Closing, and so should you. Chuck Tucker and his crew do an incredible job. We'll be right back with Jess Beagle, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The magic plays here.
Tonight, we're going to take you to the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia as the surging Orlando Magic play the struggling 76ers. Tip-off coming up tonight at 6. We'll have live play-by-play for you right here on your spot for the Orlando Magic.
Your new home for select Orlando Magic games. The NBA is on. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Is your backyard ready for paradise? Then transform it with B&E Outdoor Furniture. Custom crafted, durable, composite furniture with our bent back design built for comfort. And listen up. Through February, get 10% off your first purchase at B&E Outdoor Furniture. Visit our showroom today, 12035 Panama City Beach Parkway, or call 850-240-0830 and see our collection online at beandoutdoorfurniture.com. B&E Outdoor Furniture. Get a deal for a steal.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards in Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Panama City Beach Winery. Since 2003, a unique award-winning wine tasting experience right here in Panama City Beach. Our wines are crafted 100% from premium fruit, citrus, and berries with no added sugars, flavorings, or grapes. Delivering the true flavors of tropical Florida in every bottle. Panama City Beach Winery proudly offers free wine tastings every day. Plus, you'll love the gift shop. Wine slushies and our private events are unforgettable. Panama City Beach Winery at the corner of Joan Avenue and Thomas Drive.
Now, it's the Coach James Hale Show.
Go nuts.
Live from the J. Michael Studio on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
we are back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. The legendary Jeff Spiegel is gracious us to stay a little bit longer, and we really appreciate that. People in the Panhandle of Florida enjoy listening to him. Jeff, I want to ask you this. There was an article in CBS. The Big Ten SEC Conference commissioners have a concern over the current makeup of the 13 personnel committee that selects the playoff teams. The SEC commissioner made it clear, it might have been a year ago, he said that it wouldn't be a playoff without the SEC involved. In other words, you better make us happy. The Big Ten commissioners, I think, is on the same page of that. Do you think, and I'm just going to throw it out there because people are going to use this, do you think this has anything to do with Alabama getting in, that they better make sure there's 4 from the Big Ten, 4 from the SEC with the power? And it's true. The SEC and the Big Ten run college football, right? They have all the TV contracts. They have all the power. Do you think this plays into that or not? I think it does and doesn't. I think if you're in Indiana getting in, I agree. They had a weak schedule, but they're in the Big Ten, and they've blown people away. They're going to get in. Alabama, they lost 3 games. They looked pathetic against Oklahoma, but they got 4 wins against top 25 teams, more than anybody else. I think they're going to get in. But does this have anything to do with that?
Well, possibly. I mean, I think there's no doubt the SEC and the Big Ten are the two, the big boys on the block, and they're controlling the game right now. And so, as we mentioned a while ago, I mean, we all knew, when the college football playoff expanded to 12. I mean, before a game was even kicked off, I mean, you could have predicted that the SEC was going to have 4 in there and the Big Ten was going to have 4 in there. Partly because they do kind of they're running this thing, and partly because they play the best football.
They do.
They got the best programs. They've got the best resources.
Jeff. Let's get through looking at recruiting where the kids went. It was the Big Ten SEC.
The ACC signed 0 5-stars, and their top class was 14th in the country. So, not to bag on the ACC, because they're way better than the Big 12. If we get into the Big 12, then that's a whole different story altogether.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking in the office, about, the committee's looking at, they're going, well, let's see, what game do we want to put on TV? Do we want to put Alabama at Notre Dame? Yeah. Or do we want to put SMU at Notre Dame?
Right.
Huh. Okay. Right. Well, Alabama Notre Dame sounds a lot better.
Yeah.
It's just the brands are better. But more importantly than that, I mean, the football week in and week out is just better in those 2 leagues.
And that's just a fact. We're not being ugly. That's just a fact. That's a fact. All right, one other question I want to talk to you about. Texas, they did a great investigation. They did a wonderful job. They couldn't identify anybody throwing the bottles onto the field, so no fans will be punished at all.
Good job, Texas.
Yeah, this is. You think? I'm telling you, this is a fact. This is a report.
Didn't happen.
Like
Georgia 30, Texas 15. Texas had the ball. Anyway, can you believe that they couldn't identify?
Well, they had the same guys investigating about the cocaine in the White House. So, I mean, we can't show it.
So let me ask you this.
Sankey pardoned them.
During the SEC championship, if a call goes against Georgia,
let it rain.
Thank you.
Can we throw our beer bottles down the field and get the call reversed? Is what Kirby said it right.
It was not targeting. It was not. He did not put the crown of his helmet in the sternum of the quarterback from Georgia Tech. The ball did not come out. It happened all on its own. There was no
Jim, I tell you all the time, it just means more.
Wow.
But what did you think about that? What did you think about that report?
I mean, don't get me started when it comes to SEC officiating this year. I mean, it has just been, I think, a horrible year for SEC officiating, and I hate it for the guys who do that job. I know it's a difficult job. I know it's a tough job, But there have just been some errors this year that just make you scratch your head and go, what in the heck is going on there? So that's something that Greg Sankey, I think, needs to revisit, heading into next year.
Well, he needs to make sure that guy knows whether somebody's covered up or not. So
that was bad.
That was atrocious.
Did they ever give an explanation on that?
Not a good one.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Not a good one.
Yeah. That looked more corrupt than anything
They all turned their heads and started talking about something different.
But when you watch the official, he's kind of running down the field looking around. He just kind of drops it real quick, like when the ball's in the air. And
I
whoa.
was talking about Georgia's hit.
No.
Sure, the officials weren't getting hot dogs at the hot dog.
They got more than hot dogs.
That was a Kentucky player.
I know. Maybe they joined forces and we got a hot dog.
Well, imagine being at the concession stand and the players in line getting a hot dog.
I think the ACC and the SEC has kind of swapped guys back and forth, so they don't know which league they're calling.
I'll be honest. I've watched a lot of games. Officiating in general is terrible in every conference. It's just been awful. And where I've been shocked is the replay, because they're getting replays wrong. The Miami game, I thought that replay was wrong. There's a few other ones that I'm like, and it's usually catered to the home team, which just is really frustrating.
Well, they wouldn't have gotten out of Miami if they'd have called the Virginia team.
No.
Jeff, on a related topic, we're talking about that non-call against Georgia Tech, which led to an 8 overtime game. What's your take on this whole 8 overtime scenario, just the overtime in general in college football? What's your take on that?
I don't know if there is a good answer, to the overtime rule. I mean, overtime is just not it's not suited for football. I mean, in basketball it's one thing, but in football, gosh, you've been knocking each other's heads in for like 60 minutes, and then you play extra, and there's just there's not enough gas in the tank, first of all, and then secondly, I think the current college overtime rule, I think it's pretty cool. I think that Georgia Tech 8 overtime game was very compelling. I don't mind swapping the 2-point conversion plays and all that, because I think it's the most exciting overtime model that you could come up with. Now, one person's suggestion was, instead of starting at the 25, you start at midfield and make them work a little harder to get into the red zone. But I'm just thinking, we're just going to make the game longer.
Yeah,
exactly. The idea is to take the stress off of these players as much as you can and make it, exciting for the fans. Try to find that happy balance. And I think that Georgia Tech game, I don't know what the ratings were for that, but it must have been through the roof, because it was just it was some of the most exciting.
Let me tell you what, I keep up with all these rating things. ABC hit a gold mine. We're kicking butt in ratings. The Iron Bowl 230 was off the charts. That night game with Texas A&M was off the charts. The only team in competition with us with ABC is when Ohio State's playing. That's it. That is. We were kicking it. Even the Big Ten, other Big Ten games. If Ohio State's not involved in it, we're number one, man. They're making money off the SEC. That's another reason I think Bama's going to get in. I want to ask you real quick, and I know you get busy. If you're the head coach at Alabama, and this used to be the old days, I know for a fact, if you lost 3 times in a row to Auburn and you're the Alabama coach, you're gone. Same thing for Auburn. Maybe now it's a little bit longer. Maybe it's 4. But let's look at this situation of Ohio State, Michigan. I just want your opinion, because we got 2 Buckeyes in here, and a lot of people throughout the country. Ryan Day, what's your take on that? The only team he can't beat is Michigan. What would happen if it was Alabama-Auburn in this situation right now? You had an unbelievable record, and let's say it was Saban. You win all these games, but you can't beat Auburn. Would he survived, or would he been gone?
Well, all I heard all week was Alabama was an 11-point favorite over Auburn, and if Kalen DeBoer had lost that game, how much heck there would be to pay for him.
Yeah.
Like over the next, 9 months or whatever.
Yeah.
Beating the rival is important. Beating the rival when you're an 18-point favorite is really, really, really important. And, to me, you look at all the games that happened on Saturday, and the one that left you scratching your head the most and going, how in the world did that happen? And that never should have happened. Michigan beating Ohio State.
Yeah, that shocked yeah, no doubt. Hey, Jeff, thank you so much, man. I'm sorry I held you over. I really appreciate it. We love you having you on. You do a great job. And tell Jamie to put some clothes on.
Put some mittens on.
Hey, I appreciate y'all.
All right, buddy. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Stuart Pepper played football with me, and Floyd and Lanier, Carver, love Stuart. I had this picture of Woody Hayes, and this is what he's a preacher now of all things. He said, Woody Hayes, passionate for Ohio State, and his team was unbelievable. NIL would put him in a grave.
Oh, yeah.
No question.
So all these old school coaches. Well, Saban walked away in his prime. Well, the end of his prime, but still, he could have coached another 3-4 years. And
how much time we got? Okay, we get back. We're going to pick the who everybody thinks is going to win these conference championship games. They're really the big four ones, what we really care about. I think Tulane plays Army tonight. Yeah. There might be another one tonight.
Boise and UNLV plays tonight, too.
All right. And, all right, we'll be right back. Can I talk about some of our great people, like Jay Michaels, like South Oak Time Closing, Local 115, El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, Dr. Chad Mitchell. That Cajun place will be there. The best wings, the best beer, the best atmosphere, the best food. That Cajun place. Newbies, Max Fist Sports Nutrition, Dr. Ward, Paparazzi, Taco Bell. We'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Your home for college football. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This Saturday, it's a college football triple header. Start the day with the Big 12 Championship. It's Iowa State versus Arizona State. Coverage starts at 10, followed by Georgia versus Texas in the SEC Championship at 3. Then Saturday night, it's the ACC Championship game with Clemson versus SMU. Kickoff at 7 on your home for college football. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. Mostly clear this afternoon and evening with a moderate breeze out of the north-northeast around 13 miles per hour and temps near 54. Tonight we will have mostly clear skies and a wind speed of 8 miles per hour and be above freezing at 39. Mostly sunny tomorrow and a high 60. Some sun Sunday with a temp of 67. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Here at Panama City Toyota, Toyotathon is on, where you can get 3.99% APR on a new RAV4, plus 90 days until you make your first payment. Get 2.99% on the totally redesigned Tacoma, and you get $1,000 in holiday cash. Or get 1.99% on a new Tundra and $1,000 in holiday cash. Good cheer and great deals. Toyotathon at Panama City Toyota.
Offer expires January 6th. Visit PanamaCityToyota.com for details.
As a realtor, it's important who you choose as your title company. May we suggest South Oak Title? Their offices are modern, comfortable, and state-of-the-art. South Oak Title can close transactions in any location in Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee. Their free mobile app allows realtors to deliver a net sheet in seconds. They provide mobile closing services to accommodate buyers and sellers. Their offices are beautifully decorated, state-of-the-art, complete, safe, and secure. South Oak Title, creating a better title and closing experience through technology and tailored service. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
Welcome to It's the Coach James Hale Show.
But I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
Live from the J. Michael Studio, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey, that's gonna be cold.
And welcome back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. All right. Tulane, Army. Who you guys like? Jim?
I will go with Army.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Jim.
They're hard to defend.
Army.
I'll go Army.
I'm gonna go Tulane. I think they got a good team.
Yeah.
Jason?
Yeah, I'm going Tulane too.
Tulane.
It's 33 degrees though. Army's running that, option.
Well, I think it's played in New Orleans.
Okay, so that in a dome.
Who you like, man?
What? Tulane.
I'm with you. All right, I'm going to go with the big ones now. Arizona State, Iowa State. Who you like?
I got to be honest, I haven't watched either one of them all year, not one play. Seems like Arizona State's kind of hot now. I don't know. I'll go with them. Arizona State.
Arizona. Lynn?
I'm going to go with Iowa State. I'm not betting against Coach Campbell.
Jason?
This is going to be kind of more your physical team versus that spread offensive team. So, man, give me Iowa State. I know Arizona State's got a lot of juice right now, but Campbell's been there. He's done a real good job, and I think they're a more physical team.
There was a really close game, Arizona State, Mississippi State, and it was early in the year, though. They've gotten better. They got a good coach, but I like the guy at Iowa State.
Yeah. Well, Dillingham, who was the first year with Norvell, that was the offense coordinator, the head coach out there.
Yeah.
At Arizona State.
All right, SMU Clemson. Jim?
I'm going to go with Clemson because their program and their coaching staff and such is just more used to that kind of pressure, environment, whatever. I'm going to go Clemson.
He's got the experience. Yeah, I'm with. Who you got?
I'm going to go with upstart ponies. I'm going to see
SMU.
I think it's going to be a close game, though. Real close.
I'm going to go with SMU. I think their offense is better, and I think Clemson struggles on that side, and I'm not sure how good that defense is.
We'll see.
I'm with Jim. I think Dabo's been there, done it. He knows this is his only chance to get in.
Right.
I think Clemson's going to play hard, and they got beat last week. I think they'll play.
Right.
I'm going with Clemson.
It's hard to believe they'll play that poorly 2 weeks,
in a row. I'm with you. Well, I'm going to tell you what, SMU, South Carolina's pretty good.
Yeah, they are.
SMU's got some receivers. They got a good quarterback.
Alabama.
Rhett Lashley's a good coach. I just think that it's going to be tough for Clemson to keep up with SMU in this game.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the Big Ten. Penn State. I don't know who I'm going to listen to you guys talk, but I do not think Oregon blows them out regardless with Franklin there or not. I think Penn State, I actually feel it's going to be close. Hey, I start with Jim. Who you got?
I think it's going to be close. I think Oregon has a little bit too much juice for them. I think the biggest advantage that Oregon has is the quarterback. Gabriel is way better than Drew Aller. That's just my opinion. But I think it'll be close. I mean,
Oregon.
They're there for a reason.
Glenn?
It's going to be a squeaker. As long as Franklin's not calling plays, I think I'm going to go with Penn State.
I do think this is a tough game for Oregon because the offense-defense lines for Penn State are elite. They got a tight end that's as good as anybody in the country, so they have a weapon on offense. It's just one of those games where it's going to come down to coaching and decisions and mistakes, and that's not been Franklin's forte. So I got to go with Oregon in a very close game. But their offensive defense line are going to make this game very tough on Oregon.
Yeah. The way this year's played out, and Oregon will be the only team undefeated. Man.
It's hard to do.
That's hard. I'm going to go Penn State.
A lot of pressure.
I'm going Penn State. Shock the world.
You go Penn State, I guess.
Shock the world.
That's the difference between them having a bye and then playing in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we coming. Exactly.
We coming.
I mean,
hey, where's Deion? Oh, that's right. He's sitting home. That's right.
What's the odds? He's always lost these big games. Sooner or later, you got to win one of them, you think.
Kind of like Ryan Day.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan Day beats Penn State every year, so at least he's got that for him.
All right.
All right, let's look at this Georgia-Texas game. This is the big one. Scoring offense, Texas averages 34 points a game. Georgia averages 34 points a game. Scoring defense, Texas only gives up 11.6 a game. Georgia gives up 20 points a game. Total defense, Texas only allows 247 yards. Georgia, believe it or not, gives up 332 yards a game, a lot more. Total offense, Texas is unbelievable, 450 yards a game. I was surprised. I didn't know Georgia was this high, but Georgia averages 425 yards a game. Let me point out something, though, about the Texas Longhorns that own the SEC. And they're good. They are good. They didn't play LSU. They didn't play Ole Miss. They didn't play Tennessee. They didn't play Alabama. They didn't play Missouri. They didn't play South Carolina. They're like the Indiana of the Big Ten, and it's not their fault. It's just the way the selection went. The only tough game Indiana had, they played Ohio State and got their butt smacked. The only tough game Texas played was against Georgia, and they lost by 15. It's hard to win two games twice in the same season.
I know I should know this, but where's the game being played?
and Atlanta.
And
the second time.
A home game for
Georgia.
the SEC.
Who you
for
like?
Georgia.
Who you
Home
like?
game. Why don't you just play it in Sanford Stadium? Just get them. cut the pretense.
It's too cold.
Yeah.
Who you like?
It's outdoors.
It's hard to be somebody twice now.
I'm going to go Texas. I think they're going to prove that they can. The first one was a fluke. I'm going to go Texas. Let's get close. Close. Real close. Like, what's his name always says?
I'm going to go with the Bulldogs. I just think, like you said, they didn't play all those people. And I think it was that on purpose the SEC did it so they would feel good about coming in the first year. And by the way, yesterday you picked Oregon. So today you're picking Penn State.
I'll be right.
one way or another.
Who you got?
I got Georgia.
I took Texas.
Jason, break it down for us. You're usually good at this.
I like Texas in this game. I know the first game Georgia dominated the defensive line, but I think Texas' offensive line is playing as good as anybody over the last 3 weeks. I think their defense is playing as good as anybody.
Georgia struggled. Let's be honest. Georgia struggled with Georgia Tech.
And
Georgia Tech is a lot better than you think.
Big rival game.
And my next point is Carson Beck. What Carson Beck do we get? Do we get the guy that throws 3 interceptions in 3 games this year, or we get the guy that plays the second half against Alabama? You just don't know. I'll trust yours a little bit. I think Texas is hitting their stride, so I got Texas in a really close game. But I think that offensive line for Texas has played so much better over the last 4 weeks. I think that gives them an advantage.
Wildcat, who do you like? You like Texas or you like Georgia?
Texas.
Okay.
Sorry, Kentucky's not playing, so.
Their players don't eat hot dogs during the game. Did you see the picture?
Make it happen.
Tell him what we saw. There was a picture.
He was
during the game.
He was on. Well, he was on the injured list. My microphone slipping. He was on the injured list, so he wasn't playing. But he was in uniform, from what I understand. I didn't see the pictures. I just read the story, and he was in uniform. So he just walks off
to the concession,
to the concession stand, and stand there in uniform and buys him a couple hot dogs.
Where'd he get the money?
Hey.
He probably just said, put this on my
top. A little stuff down his pants or something.
This happened when I was at Akron. Honest to God, 95 and 96. I think it was 96. We had a backup offensive lineman, big kid, like 330 pounds, big kid. And we're the Zips, and our mascot is a kangaroo, Zippy the kangaroo. This kid, this backup lineman, gave Zippy, our mascot, the same thing. Here's the X. I don't know why. He knew he wasn't going to play, so he had money stashed away. So he gives it to our mascot.
That's for the official.
To the mascot?
I swear to God, this is true. He gives it to our mascot, Zippy the kangaroo. Zippy goes to the concession stand, comes back on the sideline, and gives him a freaking hot dog. I promise you that hot.
Wow.
That was all the time.
Can you imagine being in a line and seeing a player next to you like,
Hey, well, Zippy,
what if he's getting a beer? He's probably getting a beer.
Coach, I'm not playing anyway. What the hell?
You got your backup quarterback over there drinking Michelob Light.
And I'll tell you what his name was when we're done here.
Georgia, Texas. Now they kick off at 3:00. The 11 o'clock game is Clemson and SMU. The night.
That's at 7.
No.
Yeah,
that's at 7 with the Big. I hate that they got them both on with the Big Ten at the same time. Is the Big Ten on CBS?
CBS.
That's what I thought. ABC's got the Georgia. Only reason I'm picking Georgia. I think Texas got a great team. They look fast, man. I was impressed with their speed. I'm gonna pick Kirby because I believe in him. I love that guy. I'm gonna go with Kirby, but I don't feel good about it whatsoever. But
Iowa State, Arizona State's that 11 o'clock game.
Well,
which one is?
Iowa State, Arizona State.
The only thing about the Texas game, Carson Beck threw some interceptions, but guess what? They still won.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
I just hope it's a really good competitive football game.
I definitely think it will be.
Yeah. If it gets out of hand, I think it'll be Texas getting out of hand, not Georgia. If it's a high-scoring game and Georgia doesn't play well, they could get beat pretty bad. But I think Georgia. I'm going to go with Kirby, the great one. Wildcat, you have a great weekend. Glenn, thank you so much for coming in so many times this week. Jason, thank you. Jim, thank you. And real quick, Max Fit Sports Nutrition.
Yeah, if you're looking for a gift for your loved one, we have gift cards available now. So if you want to get somebody the gift of health for Christmas, come by. We can get you a gift card set up, and that way you can take the guesswork out of it. And we always have our free sample bar, and so you can come by and try any of our products out.
And I've got an answer for your question, who could do a better job at Ohio State? Co-head coaches. Me and Jim Bob would go up there and we wouldn't get beat.
I have no doubt about that.
We could have done worse than what Brian Day did against Michigan on
I'll
offense.
be the strength and conditioning coach.
I still think that's one of the best jobs.
Oh, absolutely.
If not the best job in college
you know
football.
what? You don't even have to do good. They pay you $10 million and
Yeah,
you get
so
fired.
fire me.
Yeah.
I want his contract. The results doesn't matter. We're out. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Only 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida could bring sports fans like you an app this powerful. The sports content you crave is always on. Live stream us everywhere you go. Now with upgraded programming and live game schedules, you'll always know when the Atlanta Braves and your favorite games are playing. Plus, interact with our local hosts in real time and